How to let go of disappointment in relationships. That's what we're going to talk about today. We all know that intimate and close relationships are challenging, but they're also one of the most intense forms of spiritual growth or yoga that you can encounter. There are two main reasons why close relationships are so challenging, and I'm going to break that down in this video, as well as give you some methods that can help you get at the root of those feelings of disappointment so that you can start to let them go and move on. So the first main reason is a very famous word, ego. One word, ego. Now let me make it clear that what I mean by the word ego here is the false sense of self, the false conditioning, not your essential individuality. You don't want to try to get rid of ego because you need ego to be in this world. Trying to get rid of ego is just more ego. But that's another video I'll be making at another time. The second main reason is that we all have love within us that wants to open up and extend and connect. That current wants to open up and connect, and the other current, the false self current we'll call it, wants to close up and protect itself and remain separate. So we've got two currents that are going in two different directions. So in almost all relationships, there's this push-pull dynamic going on. And to add more complexity to it, each of the partners tends to do this dance at a different time. In other words, come closer and then pull back. Come closer and then pull back. Using a dancing metaphor, they're either stepping on each other's toes or dancing completely separately at other times. I've done a lot of tarot readings over the years where these conflicting forces are the root of the issue in the relationship. Trouble that the person's having that they've come to consult me for, where one person comes closer and then runs scurrying back to safety. They come closer and then they run scurrying back to safety. And one of the main cards I like to use to illustrate this with tarot is the Five of Cups. So if you look at this card, the Five of Cups, it's about disappointment, feeling disappointment. You can see and feel the whole aura of disappointment that the figure, the character in the card is feeling. But the solution is every card has a solution built into it. Every problem has a solution built into it. The solution here is to stop focusing when you're ready, when you're able to let go. And I'm going to, as I said, share some tips and techniques about how to do that a bit later. But when you're ready to let go of focusing on those three cups that have been knocked over, that are spilled over, and then you'll realize that there are two cups that are still standing, that you still have to look forward to, that are overfilled and flowing. You'll be able to move forward. A lot of this feeling of wanting to close up, this false self, has been created in childhood, where the love from the parents is imperfect, at least according to the child's standards of wanting to be the center of the universe. And the child creates beliefs and ideas about the world based on this that are obviously not accurate because they're only a child. And then these unresolved conflicts stay in the unconscious where they're not aware of it as an adult, and they're trying to still resolve these conflicts with their real-life partner. And this can never work. I personally believe that a lot of these tendencies are also carryovers from past lives. I'm telling you these things not to be a victim of your childhood or a victim of your past lives. That's not what it's about. It's to be aware of what's inside of you so that you can be more honest with yourself, more aware of what's there. So now, the moment you've been waiting for, we're going to get into how to deal with those feelings of disappointment, how to let them go. The very first thing is you need to be willing, just willing, to be honest with yourself about the negativity that's inside of yourself. It's almost like we have a desire to be negative. Notice that next time you feel negative or contracted, there's a part of you that actually has some kind of inverse pleasure from that, wanting to be negative. So don't judge yourself when you notice this. Just realize this is your lower self or your false self. The second thing is to use breathing. several times a day whenever you can. Just anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes is all you need, whatever you can get in, where you can just focus on your breathing. And if you can learn to breathe with your diaphragm, that's even better. See how I take a breath in and my shoulders don't really rise up? I'll make another video about that. But for now, just do your best to breathe in a relaxed, deep manner without any forcing though, just in a relaxed, deep manner. Notice the breath going in at your nostrils, pausing to turn around and come back out, just gently focusing on your body sensations, your breathing. And what will happen is you'll begin to notice the feelings and thoughts, just allow them to come up how they want to. But by focusing some of your attention on your breathing, you'll begin to spontaneously realize that you are not those feelings or thoughts. Just spontaneously. It's not something you have to figure out with your rational mind. You'll spontaneously have these insights. And this will lead to you being able to let go more and more of those feelings, those layers of disappointment that are coming up. It will gradually release more and more and more. Something else to notice is any feelings of guilt, because these lead to wanting to blame others or blame something outside of ourselves, to be a victim, or to blame ourselves. And the idea is not to blame anything outside of yourself, right or wrong, or to blame yourself, but just to be present with those feelings. There's so much more I could say, but I'm going to be making more videos about all of these topics so that you'll be able to gradually put in the full picture of everything. But the main takeaway is that there are two conflicting forces within you. One wants to open up and love and give. The other one wants to close up and remain separate. One is real, one is false. Don't try and get rid of ego, because that's just more ego. It's more about purifying the false parts of ego. Watch for any feelings of guilt or wanting to blame. This can be very tempting. Just breathe through it all. Be present with it as best you can. Don't try and get rid of it. Just be present with it. Allow it to spin. Eventually, it'll spin itself out. Thanks for watching. See you next time.